Hello, my front porch art friends. Today we're going to do your rhythm drum, and we're going to make this look awesome with the paint and some other things that came in this kit. And we're going to dig back to some tools that came in previous kits too. You'll see that one side of your drum has slats on it. That's actually not the side you play. You can if you want to, but it's fun to decorate those. So you can choose whatever side you want to start with. You may want to tap out some paint onto, this is a plastic yogurt lid that I had, or a piece of cardboard, some recycled material. And that way you can have fun mixing your paints on that. We'll call it your palette. And then you can still have paint for other projects left in your paint cups, but it's a good idea to have a palette to work on. We're going to use the sponge brush. If you were a December customer, this came in your December kit. If you're a new customer since then, you have a new brush in your kit. If you don't have your December brush, you can use anything that came. We're also going to use a round dauber brush if you have one from a past kit. And you can use the small brush that came in your kit to that one was specifically for your rainbow chime, but you can use that for this project to add details. The wide sponge brush works well. You'll also need a paper towel, or actually later I get a rag. That works better because if you're going to squeeze water out of your brush, the rag works great. And you'll need some water so you can rinse your brush between colors. I started with red on mine, and I think that's a nice, fun, bright color. And I just chose to cover the whole thing with one color on one side. You're the artist, you can choose whatever you like. And on the other side, you'll see I mixed some colors and then we added details later. So once it's all covered, just do a thin coat. It'll dry quickly if you do a thin coat. If you glop it on, it'll take a lot longer. So you can always come back if you want to and do another coat later. But I use the same color to do one of the sides. And I think I just use the paint on my brush. Maybe I add a little more. And then I'm going to rinse my brush out. So dip it in the water and swirl it around. You kind of squish it against the bottom and get the paint out of there. I tapped it on the side of my bowl. And then I squeezed it out with the paper towel, and that's what got really wet, and a rag worked better. I switched to that in the later part. And then I'm going to choose a different color for the other side. And you can see I go on and choose different colors for all four of the sides. Now you can see all four sides of your drum are painted and the back side. Now, the back side that we started with should be pretty dry. If you put a thin coat of paint on, it'll dry fairly quickly. And so now we're going to have some fun mixing paint to do this on the slats. And so I start with blue mixed with a little bit of white, and I just did that mixing on my palette. And then watch what happens when we pick up a little bit of yellow. We just add a little yellow to one side of our brush. use my dauber to put some on the palette. I hadn't put that on before. Remember, I was just using the red, blue, and white. And then I just put it on one side of my brush, and isn't that fun? And there you have it. So there's an ombre look when one color blends into another. We call that ombre. Now we're going to go back and add some details. Grab some clean water. So dump out your water and get a clean batch. And then this is where I went and grabbed a rag, which worked much better for cleaning out this or drying off the sponge brushes. And I grabbed that dauber brush. I also have a clean sponge brush. It was just the same one I was using before, but it's rinsed out and patted dry. And now, since I'm just using one color at a time, I can use my dauber. And this was the round one that came in a previous kit. If you don't have that, you could even just tap your finger into your palette and put fingerprint dots on the side. And I did yellow dots. What's your favorite color? I did the same thing again on a different color side. So now yellow on red. This is so much fun. I've told you before, but Miss Terry and I love doing these projects, and we are not within the 3 to 8 range of ages that we recommend. It always surprises us how much fun we have doing them. And that back side, actually I keep calling it the back side, but it's the front side. This is the part of the drum you're going to tap on. That is what we started with, so that is nice and dry. And we can go and add details to this. And I just dipped the very end of my sponge brush in paint that was already on my palette and made a zigzag motion. Did a couple of rows of those, and that was a nice surprise how that turned out. I really didn't plan that before, and it is just fun to see what you can come up with using your tools. Added a couple of rows of those. You could do X's with the edge of that brush. And then I took that yellow dauber that I had used in yellow paint before and dipped it in some of the mixed paint that had been on my palette. And I didn't swirl it around, so it kept the colors kind of separate. I liked how that looked. And then I let that dry. And now if you want to, you can add the last detail, which is some washi tape. This came in the kit with your microphone, but there should be plenty left over. And so if you want to, you can add a strip of washi tape to add some glitz to your rhythm drum. Wait until your paint is all dry before you add this. You can take a little bit of time and maybe clean up, dump your water out in the sink, rinse out your bowl, rinse out your brushes, and then when that drum is all dry, you can unroll a strip of the glittery tape, and I made it go around the edges of my drum, and then just smoothed that down with my finger and tore it off. And then don't forget to paint your mallet. You'll probably have to do this in a couple of stages. And I used my dauber brush because it was small and the head of the mallet is small, but you can use your square sponge brush or even your small one that came in your rainbow chime kit. So there you have it. You're all finished, and enjoy your drum.